The city lights were a smattering of distant stars against the pre-dawn inky canvas, but within Hayes's Hearth Bakery, a different kind of glow pulsed. Warm vanilla and melting butter perfumed the cramped kitchen, a familiar symphony Liam Hayes had conducted for a decade. Each slow, rhythmic knead of dough by his broad, calloused hands was a silent prayer, a bittersweet perfume of a dream barely surviving. Dust motes danced in the slivers of weak light filtering through a grimy window, illuminated by the ancient oven's orange hum. On a shelf, nestled among flour sacks and spice jars, a faded photograph of Alara, his late wife, smiled eternally, her laughter a ghost that clung to the quiet air. The bakery, once a vibrant cornerstone of their shared dreams, was now a monument to his solitary resilience, its antique cash register a silent sentinel of dwindling hopes. A crumpled note from his landlord about overdue rent, tucked under a magnet on the fridge, was a daily jab, a physical manifestation of the immense weight he carried. Providing for Claire, his 9-year-old universe, whose rare, unforgiving allergies made her diet a constant, delicate challenge, was his sole driving motivation. He often whispered to the dough, "Just one more day, old friend," as if the yeast understood the silent battle he waged. Above the bakery, in their small, cozy apartment, Claire was already awake, her bright eyes alight with the intricate worlds she conjured. Sun, still reluctant, barely reached her window, painting her drawings in hazy gold. She sat at their kitchen table, a well-loved sketchbook open before her, meticulous blueprints of a fantastical treehouse filling the pages. Liam, apron still on, his brow furrowed deeper than any hardwood project ever could, carefully plated her breakfast. A special gluten-free, nut-free, dairy-free waffle, homemade from scratch. He watched her, a familiar tightening in his chest, a mixture of boundless love and subtle, gnawing anxiety. "Daddy, can we add a secret slide here?" Claire asked, tracing a curving line on the page with her finger. Liam smiled, ruffling her soft brown hair. "Anything for my architect. Just make sure it's safe for the squirrels." He knelt, his gaze searching her face. "How's your tummy feeling this morning, Pumpkin?" It was a daily check, a quiet ritual of concern. Claire gave him a quick, firm hug, a small reassurance that temporarily eased the knot in his stomach. "It's fine, Daddy. I'm super hungry." Her imagination, sharp and unburdened, was a constant marvel to him. She was strong, trying to be brave for him, and Liam felt a fierce, protective love swell, pushing back the fear about her health and their precarious future. For a moment, her happiness was enough. Across town, hidden behind the dusty, stately windows of the once grand Reid's Legacy restaurant, Dr. Anna Reid moved with a detached precision. The industrial kitchen, gleaming stainless steel and cold, reflected only weak morning light, its silence a stark contrast to the cacophony it once knew. Anna, 35, elegant and composed in her crisp chef's coat, sat not with a recipe, but with complex notes on chromatography. Her focus was purely scientific, analyzing flavor profiles with a system that hummed softly. Each precise record of data lacked the passion that once defined her. She reached out, her fingers brushing the cold surface of an unused stove, a flicker of pain in her green eyes. A framed photograph, tucked away in a drawer, showed a younger Anna, vibrant and laughing with a renowned chef, her mentor, in a kitchen teeming with life. Now, the only sound was her own internal monologue, cold and clinical, another 2% increase in umami. Predictable, still meaningless. 2 years ago, a car accident had stolen her senses of taste and smell, silencing her vibrant culinary world. Now, she consulted for major food companies, a ghost chef designing meals she could no longer experience, stripped of the very essence of her genius. She felt isolated, a fraud, trapped by her grief and her family's expectations for Reid's legacy. A restaurant her father refused to let her reopen, insisting she reclaim her proper place in fine dining. She glanced out the window, observing the street below with detached curiosity, her gaze occasionally lingering on the bustling, if unassuming, Hayes's Hearth Bakery. The city's midday traffic was a snarled beast. Liam gripped the steering wheel of his beat-up delivery van, the Hayes's Hearth logo, a smiling bread loaf, faded but still cheerful, trying to deliver a wedding cake across town. The engine sputtered, a chronic cough that always filled him with dread. He coaxed it along, whispering prayers to the sputtering machinery. Claire sat in the passenger seat, oblivious to his mounting tension, her sketchbook open as she drew the passing buildings with childlike wonder. A warning light flickered on the dashboard, a grim harbinger. "Come on, old girl, just a little further," he muttered under his breath, his knuckles white against the worn plastic. Claire, sensing his tension, looked up. "Is everything okay, Daddy? The van sounds a bit sad." Liam forced a smile, a practiced reflex of reassurance. "Just a little cough, pumpkin. We'll be fine." He tried to project calm, to shield her from the gnawing fear that any mechanical failure could mean lost business, lost income, and another obstacle in their already uphill battle. But the van had other plans. With a final dying cough, it shuddered to a halt. Liam's heart sank. Of all places, they were stranded directly outside the imposing, elegant but derelict Reid's Legacy building. Rain clouds, bruised purple, gathered ominously overhead, mirroring his mood. He slammed the hood in frustration, trying to restart the stubbornly silent engine. Claire, however, was already captivated. She pulled out her sketchbook, her tiny fingers moving across the page, capturing the grand, melancholic facade of the restaurant. Liam checked his phone. No signal. He needed to call the wedding venue, needed to get home to prepare Claire's special evening bread. Just perfect. "Absolutely perfect," he muttered, the words heavy with defeat. Claire, drawing intently, pointed with her pencil. "Daddy, look, it's so beautiful, even though it's broken." Her innocent perspective, finding beauty in decay, was a stark contrast to his despair. He felt the heavy symbolism of his broken-down van outside the grand, abandoned restaurant. Inside Reid's Legacy, Anna had heard the van's final gasp. From an upper window, unseen, she watched Liam's frustration, then his tender interaction with Claire. She saw Claire's sketch, a familiar tremor passing through her as she recognized the building she grew up in. Another broken thing, she thought, a bitter echo. Like me. But he has a child. He still fights, a pang of something akin to empathy, a sensation she rarely allowed herself, pierced her usual detached observation. She saw Liam's vulnerability and Claire's pure spirit, and a distant, undeniable spark of connection, against her will, began to glow. The sky tore open. Rain poured down in sheets, wind whipping through the street, turning the air into a frigid, watery chaos. Liam scrambled to cover the delicate wedding cake in the back of the van with a tarp, struggling against the furious wind. Claire huddled under her small, rainbow-colored umbrella, shivering, her allergy a constant, insidious worry in the damp cold. He looked around frantically for shelter. The bakery is too far. Panic, cold and sharp, gnawed at him. Claire's health was paramount. He needed to get her warm, fast. He spotted it. A small, unassuming side door to Reid's Legacy, slightly ajar. He hesitated, seeing the private property sign, the warning etched in old brass. But a glance at Claire, pale and shivering uncontrollably, made the decision for him. This wasn't about politeness, it was about survival. "Come on, sweetheart, just for a minute, to get out of the rain," he urged, pushing the door open. Claire looked uncertain, but followed, trusting her father's lead. Inside, the air was surprisingly cold, vast and silent. Elegant but dust-laden furniture, covered with white sheets, created ghostly shapes, like forgotten giants. The heavy scent of old spices and distant memories hung in the air. Claire looked around in awe, her earlier drawing of the building coming to life around her. "Hello? Anyone here?" Liam called out cautiously, his voice echoing in the cavernous space. "It's like a castle, Daddy, a sleeping castle," Claire whispered, her eyes wide with wonder. Liam was wary, feeling like an intruder. The weight of history and potential intrusion hung heavy in the air. Suddenly, from behind a covered pillar, Anna stepped out. Her crisp white chef's coat gleamed in the dim light, stark against the shadowy interior. She moved with a quiet, almost regal grace, startling Liam and Claire. Liam was immediately apologetic. "I am so sorry. My van broke down, and my daughter, the rain." Anna raised a hand, a silent gesture of understanding. Her eyes, usually unreadable, held a flicker of something new. Claire, however, was mesmerized. "Are you the princess of this castle?" she asked in a small voice, her head tilted. Anna almost smiled, a rare, fleeting warmth in her eyes. Liam, embarrassed but relieved, met her gaze. She was a silent mystery, but her presence was surprisingly calming. Anna, for her part, felt a pull she hadn't experienced in years, a strange warmth at being seen not as a broken chef, but a princess in Claire's innocent eyes. The large, pristine industrial kitchen within Reid's legacy was a culinary lab, a stark contrast to Liam's cozy, slightly chaotic bakery. He explained Claire's specific allergies, the delicate balance of ingredients needed for her evening bread, ingredients his humble bakery simply didn't stock. Anna, after a moment of consideration, gestured towards a perfectly organized pantry, a veritable treasure trove of specialty flours and rare extracts. She walked to a shelf, her fingers unerringly pointing to the exact gluten-free, nut-free flour, the obscure binding agents Liam needed. He was stunned. You have this? It's incredibly hard to find." Anna gave a slight nod. "My father used to experiment with all kinds of specialty ingredients. Some are still here." Claire piped up, sensing the shift in tension. "Thank you, Princess." Liam felt an overwhelming surge of relief and gratitude. Anna, seeing his distress, then quietly offered to help him get his van towed and drive him and Claire back to the bakery. Liam, still in shock from the offer, could only nod. He felt a strange sense of purpose, helping in a way that reconnected her to her past passion, even if vicariously. The pantry held memories for her, a silent echo of a life she thought was lost. Back in Liam's humble bakery kitchen, late afternoon sun streamed through the window, creating a warm, golden glow. Liam, still slightly disoriented but energized, began preparing Claire's bread. Anna, true to her word, assisted him. Her movements were precise, almost clinical, as she measured and mixed, her hands moving with the intuitive grace of a maestro, despite her senses being gone. Claire, now warm and comfortable, sat sketching at a small table, observing them with rapt attention. "You really know your way around a kitchen," Liam remarked, watching her expertly handle a delicate gluten-free starter. Anna offered a rare, almost shy smile. "It was my life." She then gently guided Liam's hand to feel the dough's texture, explaining the scientific principles behind gluten-free baking. "It's about achieving elasticity without the protein, a different kind of alchemy." Claire clapped her hands, eyes bright. "It's like you're both cooking magic." Liam was fascinated by Anna's knowledge, her quiet competence. He felt an unexpected calm, a sense of partnership he hadn't realized he craved. Anna, for her part, felt a flicker of her old self, the joy of creation, even without sensory input. She focused on the visual and tactile aspects, the texture, the process, finding a new way to engage with her passion. The special bread for Claire finally emerged from the oven, golden brown and fragrant. Liam waited anxiously, his heart pounding. Claire took a bite, her eyes lighting up instantly. Her genuine delight was palpable, a pure, unadulterated joy. Anna watched Claire's reaction intently, almost feeding off the child's happiness. Liam, observing Anna watch Claire, saw the profound emotional impact. "Daddy, this is the best bread ever. It tastes like sunshine and hugs," Claire exclaimed, her mouth full. Anna felt a strange warmth spread through her. The crisp crust, the soft interior, Claire's pure delight. This is what it felt like. This is what I've missed. She realized food's impact extended far beyond mere sensation. It was connection, joy, love. Claire's pure happiness was contagious. Liam felt a warmth he hadn't felt since Alara, a sense of hope rekindled. Anna experienced taste vicariously through Claire's unadulterated joy. This interaction sparked a profound shift within her. Over the next few weeks, temporary assistance became a quiet routine. Anna started coming into Hayes's hearth regularly, reorganizing Liam's pantry with scientific precision, streamlining his outdated baking processes, and developing new, allergy-friendly recipes that focused on innovative textures and visual appeal. She didn't taste, but she guided Liam through precise scientific measurements and techniques. Liam, initially skeptical, saw the improvements immediately and quickly learned to trust her quiet judgment. Claire often sat sketching, observing their growing rapport, her drawings often depicting them side by side in the kitchen. "How do you know this will work without?" Liam would sometimes ask, gesturing vaguely. Anna would reply, her voice calm and authoritative. "Culinary science is observation and precision. Taste is merely one variable." The heart, however, she'd add, a rare, almost shy smile touching her lips. That's a variable too. Claire, in her innocence, would sometimes ask if Anna was staying forever. Anna found a new purpose, a way to use her intellect and knowledge without the constant pain of her loss. She felt a subtle return of joy, a sense of belonging she hadn't realized she craved. Liam was deeply grateful, but also increasingly curious about her, intrigued by her quiet strength and brilliant mind. He noticed the quiet sadness in her eyes occasionally, a shadow that still followed her. After Claire was asleep or at school, Liam and Anna would share quiet moments in the bakery or above. They talked about bread, about life, carefully skirting their pasts. Anna helped Claire with her science homework, explaining complex concepts with simple, elegant analogies that Liam admired. Liam, in turn, fixed a broken shelf in Reid's legacy, a small gesture of quiet support, a silent acknowledgement of their growing connection. Claire, sensing the shift, started talking to Anna about her mother, Alara, painting Anna a picture of Liam's lost love, her words weaving a tapestry of grief and cherished memories. Anna felt a profound connection to Alara's memory, a shared sense of loss and understanding. She began to see the warmth beneath Liam's gruff exterior, the deep love that fueled him. Liam, meanwhile, felt his carefully constructed walls begin to crumble, finding a strange comfort in Anna's quiet presence and her understanding gaze. One evening, Claire carefully added Anna to her family drawing, placing her next to Liam, a silent declaration of belonging. She approached Liam, her face earnest. "Daddy, Miss Anna makes the bakery smell happy now. Can she be part of our family?" Liam hugged her tightly, his heart aching. "She already is, sweetheart, in her own way." Claire, with the clear-eyed certainty of childhood, saw the missing piece Anna filled. Liam yearned for a partner, for a shared life, but still carried the fresh scar of Alara's loss, the fear of letting someone in again, of risking his heart. Then, the outside world intruded. Anna's phone buzzed late one evening. It was her father, Mr. Reid, a renowned restaurateur. He announced his intention to finally sell Reid's legacy to a booming corporate bakery chain, Flavor Fusion. They also wanted Anna to return as their head of R&D, a grand, prestigious offer that would pull her back into the world she had left, the world of haute cuisine and silent despair. He mentioned, almost casually, Flavor Fusion's plans to expand aggressively into the neighborhood, specifically targeting Liam's area. "Anna, this is your chance to reclaim your legacy, darling," Mr. Reid's voice boomed over the phone. "Flavor Fusion is exactly what you need. They appreciate your genius. Plus, it helps secure my retirement." Anna's voice was tight. "My legacy isn't theirs to buy, Father, and I can't." She felt a mix of pressure and resentment. The offer was tempting, a return to her former glory, but it would mean abandoning the quiet joy she had found with Liam and Claire. Her father's constant push for status reawakened her feelings of inadequacy. She also heard the implicit threat to Liam's bakery, a place that now felt more like home than any corporate kitchen ever could. The next morning, a glossy flyer appeared on the bakery door, announcing Flavor Fusion opening a massive new outlet just blocks away, promising artisan bread at cutthroat prices. A slick, aggressive man, a Flavor Fusion representative, walked into the bakery, offering to buy Liam out for his own good. "Mr. Hayes, we admire your heritage, but tradition won't pay the bills in this market," the rep said, his smile devoid of warmth. "Our offer is fair. Get out now before you're crushed." Liam's jaw tightened. "This isn't just a business, it's my family, it's a hearth." But his words lacked their usual conviction. He felt a fresh wave of despair, the bakery, his lifeline, now under direct threat. He knew he couldn't compete on price. The familiar sense of helplessness returned, a chilling fear for Claire's future. That evening, the bakery kitchen, usually a haven of warmth, was heavy with unspoken tension. Liam told Anna about Flavor Fusion's offer. He saw the conflict in her eyes, her connection to her father, and the demanding culinary world. He misinterpreted her silence, her thoughtful expression, as a desire to return to that world. "They want to buy me out. They're big. Too big," Liam said, his voice flat. "You know their world, Anna. Maybe. Maybe you should go back to it, where you belong." Anna flinched, deeply hurt. "Is that what you think, that I don't belong here?" Liam, defensive, pushed back. "I just don't want to hold you back from your real life." His past trauma resurfaced, raw and exposed. He feared abandonment, projecting his own insecurities onto Anna, convinced he wasn't enough for her, that his simple life was too small. Anna felt a profound sting. His words made her feel unseen, reduced to her past accomplishments rather than her present self. Her newfound belonging, so fragile, was threatened. Alone in Reid's legacy, Anna gazed at old photographs, herself and her father, herself and her mentor, all in bustling, vibrant kitchens. She was wrestling with her father's offer, with Liam's words, with the echoes of a life she'd lost. A flashback sequence assaulted her, the sickening screech of tires, the jarring impact, the blurry hospital lights, the doctor's gentle but firm explanation of anosmia. Her world crumbling into silence and tastelessness. Her younger self, screaming internally, "My life, it's gone." The heavy weight of expectations, of her family's legacy, and her personal loss pressed down on her. She was flooded with grief and anger. The corporate offer, once a tempting path back to glory, now felt like a desperate, hollow attempt to reclaim a ghost of her former identity. Claire, meanwhile, in their apartment, sensed the tension between Liam and Anna. Her usual cheerfulness was muted. She drew a picture of the bakery, adding big X marks over it, symbolizing her fear of losing it. She approached Liam, her small face etched with worry. "Daddy, is the bakery going away? Is Miss Anna going away too?" Liam hugged her tightly, his heart aching. "Never, sweetheart. Neither of them." But his voice lacked conviction, the lie heavy on his tongue. Claire looked up at him, her wisdom cutting through his carefully constructed facade. "But you both look so sad now." Claire's innocence highlighted the severity of the situation. Her fear reinforced Liam's determination to fight, but also deepened his sense of inadequacy. He saw clearly that his daughter's happiness was now tied not just to him, but to Anna. The silence that followed Anna's words was thick with unspoken regrets, a heavy cloud that suffocated the warmth of the bakery. Liam watched her, the conflict in her eyes, the pain his own fear had inflicted. He saw not a formidable chef, but a woman wounded, brave, and vulnerable. His protective instincts, usually reserved for Claire, flared, warring with the fear of another devastating loss. He took a hesitant step toward her, reaching out a hand, then letting it fall. The space between them felt immense, filled with ghosts and unspoken truths. "I know what it's like to lose everything," Liam said, his voice raw, remembering the crushing emptiness after Alara's death. "To feel like the world keeps spinning, but you're stuck in the silence. I've been hiding there for years, Anna. I built this life for Claire, this small, safe, predictable life. The idea of someone else becoming essential to us and then leaving." He couldn't finish the thought, the words lodging in his throat, suffocating him. He was trapped in his own grief, in his own fear of abandonment, a self-fulfilling prophecy. Anna looked at him, her gaze softening. She saw the tremor in his hands, the pain etched around his eyes. She saw a man, not so different from herself, rebuilding a life from shattered pieces. "I've been there, building walls so high, no one can get in, and you end up trapping yourself," Anna said, stepping closer, closing the gap between them. "But sometimes, Liam, the only way out is to let someone else in, to choose to trust again, even when it's terrifying." She reached out, her hand tentatively touching his arm. A spark, soft but undeniable, passed between them. It wasn't a resolution, but a fragile promise, a seed of hope planted in the wreckage of their fears. The next few days passed in a fog of routine and regret. Liam was physically and emotionally drained, the energy to fight the encroaching flavor fusion sapped by his internal battle. He watched the dwindling sales, the rising bills, the stack of invoices growing taller. The for sale sign from the landlord, now prominently displayed on the bakery building, was a daily reminder of his impending failure. He found himself drafting an email to the Flavor Fusion representative, rehearsing the words of surrender. Asterisk. "It's not fair to Claire, asterisk," he reasoned. Asterisk to drag her through this collapse. Asterisk Claire, sensing the palpable shift in atmosphere, became withdrawn. Her usual cheerful chatter was replaced by quiet observation, her eyes often fixated on the for sale sign. "I can't fight this anymore," Liam whispered to himself one evening, watching Claire play silently in the living room. "It's not fair to Claire." He saw the heavy symbolism in the broken-down van, the grand abandoned restaurant, his fading bakery, asterisk. Everything is breaking down, asterisk. Claire, overhearing his quiet despair, hugged her teddy bear tighter. "The bakery is sad. Daddy is sad. Everything is sad," she murmured, her small voice echoing the desolation in the room. Liam felt his heart clench. He was at his lowest point, feeling like a failure. Claire's genuine fear deepened his shame. Anna, walking past the local town hall bulletin board one morning, saw it, a brightly colored flyer for the annual Portland's Best Baker competition. The grand prize, a year's supply of specialty ingredients, a substantial cash prize, and citywide recognition. Flavor Fusion was listed as a heavy sponsor, their logo emblazoned across the bottom. A fierce spark ignited within Anna. Asterisk. This is it, asterisk, she thought. Asterisk. My chance to beat them at their own game. Not for me, for Liam. For Claire. Asterisk. She saw it as a last, desperate chance, a way to fight back, a silent declaration of her choice to stay, to fight for this new, fragile family she had found. She found Liam moments later, his phone in his hand, hovering over the Flavor Fusion contact. He was about to make the call. Anna burst through the bakery door, adrenaline coursing through her. "Liam, don't!" she exclaimed, rushing over. She thrust the flyer into his hand, her eyes blazing with a determination he hadn't seen before. "We're entering the competition." Liam stared at the flyer, then at her, disbelief etched on his face. "Anna, we can't. It's too late. They're too big. And our bread." He trailed off, gesturing vaguely at the humble loaves cooling on the racks. "Not times our times bread, Liam. Asterisk my times bread. And times your times heart," Anna countered, her voice firm, resolute. "We will create a revolutionary, allergy-friendly bread, designed not just for taste, but for texture, for visual appeal that transcends traditional sensory experience. We'll make something for Claire, for everyone who feels unseen by food." She outlined a daring strategy, her scientific mind already piecing together the recipe, the techniques. "You have the heart, the intuition, the magic. I have the science, the precision. Together, we can create something they can't replicate, something extraordinary." Liam looked at the flyer, then at Anna's fierce, hopeful face. He glanced at Claire, who had crept closer, her small face filled with worried hope. He saw his daughter's future, his own longing for purpose, reflected in Anna's unwavering gaze. His despair began to recede, replaced by a flicker of hope, a resurgence of the fighting spirit he thought he'd lost. "Okay," he said, a breath of renewed determination escaping his lips. "Let's bake something extraordinary." He held her gaze, a silent promise passing between them. This was their turning point, their choice to fight together. The days leading up to the Portland's Best Baker competition dissolved into a whirlwind of flour, frantic experiments, and intense, focused energy in Hayes' Hearth Bakery. The kitchen, once quiet and melancholic, now buzzed with a fervent, almost electric creativity. Liam and Anna worked tirelessly, pushing the boundaries of what Liam thought was possible. Anna, despite her anosmia, guided Liam through precise scientific steps, adjusting hydration levels, meticulously controlling fermentation times, tweaking baking temperatures for complex textural nuances. Liam, relying on his years of intuitive baking, learned to trust Anna's scientific approach implicitly. He felt the dough respond differently, lighter, more nuanced. Claire, now a diligent assistant, helped with decorations, her artistic talent applied to intricate designs for the bread's presentation. They faced setbacks, failed experiments that crumbled or refused to rise, moments of doubt that threatened to derail their momentum. The Flavor Fusion representative, a smirking shadow, was often seen lingering outside, attempting to spy on their progress, fueling their determination. "The Maillard reaction here, Liam," Anna explained one frantic afternoon, her hands covered in flour, her concentration absolute, "is not just about browning. It's about developing layers of mouthfeel, a symphony of crisp and chew." Liam, feeling the dough, nodded, understanding dawning on him. "It feels different, lighter somehow." Claire, looking at the emerging loaf, beamed. "It smells like our home, even without the smell." Her innocent words reminded them of the true purpose behind their frantic work. Anna was exhilarated, feeling truly alive for the first time in years. Her intellect was fully engaged, her passion rekindled in a way she thought impossible. Liam was both exhausted and invigorated, finding a new dimension to his craft, a depth he hadn't known existed. Claire provided the emotional fuel, her unshakable faith in them, their beacon. Competition day arrived, a crucible of nerves and anticipation. The exhibition hall was brightly lit, packed with judges, competitors, and a buzzing crowd of spectators. A large Portland's Best Baker banner hung overhead, dominating the space. Flavor Fusion's elaborate display, gleaming and overly polished, was prominently positioned, a silent taunt. Liam, nervous but resolute, walked onto the stage, a small hand in his. He carried their creation, the Phoenix bread, a beautifully crafted, visually stunning, multi-textured, allergy-friendly loaf. Its crust was intricately scored with a symbolic phoenix design, etched by Claire. Anna stood beside him, calm and confident, her presence a silent statement of their partnership. The Flavor Fusion representative sneered from the crowd. "This isn't just bread," Liam began, his voice surprisingly steady, echoing through the hall. "It's a promise that everyone, no matter their challenges, deserves to experience joy, connection, and the comfort of food." Anna stepped forward, her gaze sweeping the audience. "It represents resilience, transformation, and finding new ways to connect with what nourishes us," she added, her voice clear and strong. Claire squeezed their hands, a silent cheer. The air in the competition hall was thick with anticipation as the judges, renowned food critics and culinary experts, approached their table. They were initially skeptical, an allergy-friendly bread, presented by a humble neighborhood bakery, up against corporate giants. One judge, a particularly stern-faced critic known for her unforgiving palate, picked up a slice, examining its texture and visual appeal. She took a bite, her expression, initially impassive, softened, then transformed into genuine surprise and delight. Others followed suit, their faces mirroring hers. The renowned food critic closed her eyes, savoring the complex, nuanced flavors Liam could still taste, and Anna had so scientifically engineered. A murmur rippled through the hall. Then, the announcement, the winner of Portland's Best Baker is Hayes Hearth Bakery. The crowd erupted in applause, cheers, and gasps of surprise. Flavor Fusion's representative stood frozen, his face a mask of furious disbelief. Liam felt his knees nearly give out with relief and joy. He looked down at Anna, then at Claire, who launched herself into their arms. "We did it," he whispered, tears stinging his eyes. Anna, tears streaming down her own face, shook her head. "No, Liam. We times did it." Their embrace was long, tender, a silent declaration of love and shared triumph. For Liam, it was an overwhelming sense of pride, not just in the bread, but in the journey, in their fight. For Anna, it was a validation that extended far beyond her lost senses. It was a victory for their chosen family, for passion over profit, for love over fear. The judge's words resonated, unprecedented, a triumph of texture, ingenuity, and sheer heart. This bread, it tells a story. And it was their story. Months later, Hayes's Hearth Bakery buzzed with a newfound vibrancy. The Phoenix bread was a bestseller, drawing customers from all over Portland. The bakery had expanded, new equipment gleamed, and smiling staff moved efficiently through the now bustling space. Liam, still in his worn apron, kneaded dough with a renewed sense of purpose and joy, his laughter now echoing alongside Alara's memory. Anna was often there, too, but had her own dedicated culinary innovation lab within the bakery, a bright, modern space where she developed new allergy-friendly products and taught workshops, inspiring aspiring bakers with her unique blend of science and heart. Claire, healthy and bright, now 10, helped out after school, her artistic talent now applied to stunning bakery displays and the playful designs on their packaging. A customer approached Liam, her eyes full of gratitude. "This Phoenix bread," she said, clutching a loaf. "It changed my son's life, Mr. Hayes. He hasn't been able to enjoy bread in years." Liam smiled, his gaze finding Anna's. "It changed ours too," he replied, a quiet warmth in his voice. Anna, teaching a class on experimental textures, explained, "Food is more than taste. It's connection, memory, and the story we share." She was whole, valued, deeply connected, her intellect and passion finding a powerful new outlet. Liam felt immense gratitude and contentment, a peace he hadn't known was possible. One quiet evening, After Claire had fallen asleep, Liam and Anna sat in their renovated apartment above the bakery. The space, once sterile, now felt like home, filled with Claire's drawings, Anna's culinary notes, and the lingering scent of warm bread. Liam, his heart pounding a familiar rhythm, took Anna's hand. He was nervous, but resolute. He pulled out a small, intricately carved wooden box he had made, containing a simple silver ring. "Anna," he began, his voice husky with emotion, "you brought flavor back into my life, even when you couldn't taste it yourself. You saw the strength in our brokenness. You saw times me asterisk, and you brought us back to life." He took a deep breath. Will you marry us? Marry me and Claire and this crazy, wonderful life we've built?" Anna's eyes filled with tears, her heart overflowing. "Yes, Liam, 1,000 times, yes." She squeezed his hand, her past pain finally yielding to overwhelming love and the certainty of belonging. She chose them, forever. 5 years later, the Hayes Hearth and Innovation Lab stood as a beloved, thriving community hub. Its exterior, once humble, now featured a vibrant garden with Claire's artistic sculptures flourishing outside, a testament to her creative spirit. The late afternoon sun bathed the scene in a golden glow as Liam and Anna, married and deeply content, held hands, watching a now teenaged Claire, 14, energetically teach a group of younger kids how to decorate allergy-friendly cupcakes. Claire was thriving, pursuing a dual passion for art and culinary science. The bakery was a testament to their combined vision, a legacy of love and ingenuity. Anna's father, Mr. Reid, a softened man, was often seen chatting happily with customers, a quiet pride in his daughter's unique success finally visible. Anna's senses hadn't fully returned, but she'd found peace and profound joy in new forms of culinary exploration and connection. "Still no regrets?" Liam asked, his voice tender, nudging her playfully. Anna squeezed his hand, her smile radiant. "Only that it took me so long to taste true happiness. You and Claire, you are my forever flavor." Claire, noticing them, called out, laughing, "Daddy, Mom, come on, these cupcakes won't frost themselves." Liam and Anna exchanged a knowing glance, their hearts full. They were a complete family, not just surviving, but truly living. The bakery, once a symbol of Liam's struggle, was now a symbol of their enduring love and resilience. Inside, the warm amber light of the bakery embraced them. Liam and Anna were behind the counter, serving a bustling line of customers. Claire came over, gave them both a tight hug. A customer, admiring the array of innovative pastries, mentioned Reid's legacy. Anna smiled, no longer with pain, but with quiet pride. "This is my legacy now," she said, gesturing around the vibrant, joyous bakery. Liam wrapped an arm around her, his gaze steady and full of love. "Sometimes the greatest gifts come disguised as loss," Anna murmured, looking at him. "It taught me to look for beauty, for connection, beyond the obvious. It taught me to find taste in love. And it taught me that a broken hearth can be rebuilt," Liam added, his eyes meeting hers, stronger and warmer than before, with the right ingredients. Their story, born from a broken-down van and a sudden storm, was a testament to the unexpected sweetness found when two hearts, once lost in their own silences, chose to listen to each other, to fight for each other, and to build a family more flavorful than any they could have imagined.